An opinion piece in the New York Post argues this. Of course, Biden's policies are to blame for this migrant tragedy. Our border resembles what in the law is called an attractive nuisance, like a swimming pool without a fence. Biden's policies lure people here with promises that they'll be able to live here forever without any meaningful chance of deportation, if only they can make it past the border. Jason Chaffetz, Fox News contributor, former Republican congressman from Utah, is here. To call this a closed border is a new level of insanity. It's much worse than Putin's price hike because people are dying because of our border policies.
Hey, can you imagine how horrific the scene must have been in there? The heat, the exhaustion. You have 53 people dead. It says totally preventable. The border is not closed. And for the White House spokesperson to say that they're focused on this, Joe Biden has never been to the border ever. Kamala Harris is supposedly the border czar. She has done absolutely nothing. Andrea Honda, the Secretary for Homeland Security, is saying that the border is under operational control. That's a lie. It is absolutely, totally not. And that's not just me, Dagan, or somebody else making this comment. That's the Border Patrol themselves. How come these senior officials will not take the time to meet with people like Brandon Judd and the Border Patrol and talk to any one of the tens of thousands of agents that are trying to do this job? It is a magnet. It is drug trafficking. It is human trafficking. It is one of the greatest tragedies, and it's totally preventable.
As the Mark Lamb of Pinell County, Arizona, the sheriff there, said yesterday when we were talking about this horrific tragedy and the inhumane treatment of migrants who are just trying to get into the United States, he said, just Google U-Haul and migrant. And over and over and over again, there are story after story since Joe Biden took office of migrants, adults, and even unaccompanied children found crammed in small, unventilated vehicles. Even last June, there were 33 migrants found in a U-Haul in 100-degree heat. And so they stand back and let this happen and let these traffickers, these drug traffickers and human traffickers, profit from human suffering and misery, whether it's fentanyl deaths or whether it's migrants dying in the back of a tractor trailer. They're standing back, lying, and letting it happen.
Yeah, you talk to the Border Patrol agents, they'll tell you that more than half of the women that are coming across and smuggled are being raped along the way. And how about the fentanyl? I mean, we just did stories about fentanyl and the drug trade that's coming across, killing Americans, I mean, by the hundreds on a daily basis. This is totally preventable. And for the White House to pretend that they have an action plan, that they have it under control, that the border's closed, is just absolutely fiction and a lie. Why are we hitting all-time record highs? Numbers that are so big since we ever started counting? It's because the Biden-Harris administration is tacitly responsible for this. They've attracted them. They told them they're not going to be deported. Live the American dream. Just get here, come here as fast as you can. And they've done so by the millions. Border
apprehensions at a new record, fentanyl seizures in 2 months. The same amount of fentanyl is being seized right now that they used to seize in a complete 12-month fiscal year. I want to move on to this. Critics are digging in after a newly released 2018 voicemail from President Biden to his son, Hunter, seems to prove that he was asking his son about his business dealings with China. Former DOJ prosecutor Jim Trusty called it an integrity test. Quote, will they walk away from powerful evidence? Will they come up with a soft plea like a tax charge, talking about justice that does not remotely capture the actual wrongdoing? Or will they treat Hunter Biden like any other white-collar defendant in the federal system? Kentucky Congressman and House Oversight Committee member James Comer says Republicans are committed to getting answers.
I've got some bad news for the mainstream media and Democrat leaders in Washington. Joe Biden did have knowledge of Hunter's shady business dealings. He was involved. This is going to come out. If it doesn't come out because of anything that Merrick Garland or the Department of Justice does, I can assure the American people that there's going to be a hearing early on in a new Republican majority that's going to bring a lot of these concerns to light.
Jason?
Look, we know that the Bidens had been doing personal business in China, in Russia, in Ukraine, Mexico, Romania. You have pictures of Joe Biden with Hunter Biden's business partners on a golf course at the residence there, the vice president's residence. You have emails, you have text messages. Now you have voicemails that you can listen to. How much more information do they need in order to justify this when the president of the United States, and when he was a candidate of the United States, candidate for presidency, said, I've never even had a conversation with him. And when you have about his business dealings, but when you listen to that voicemail, it's obvious that they had a conversation before that. He was responding and telling Hunter, hey, I think you're in the clear.
I found it, among other things, odd that a son would save this voicemail from his dad, that Hunter Biden would save this voicemail. I know that he may be a reckless addict, but maybe a son keeping leverage over his own father. Raising that question.
I don't know, but we need a special prosecutor. That's what it's going to take.
Thank you, Jason. Jason Chaffetz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.